Hello, folks. Back with more ancient cosmography. And so this image, I think, is probably it's one of the better images. In some ways, it's the best image of the 5,500-year-old Hierakonpolis map. So I'm not sure why it's such a different color. Like in a lot of the ones, the mainland here is orange, whereas in this it's gray. It could be that this image is from like halfway through the quote-unquote cleaning process where they destroyed it all, and so that's why it's like faded. But I mean, I don't know, because it seems like a completely different color. So maybe it was just using some different type of photographic techniques. And but in this, you can see underneath the mainland that there's just this one figure underneath, and I think his horn is he's underneath North America. Basically, this is South America, this is Central America, this is North America, this is like Baja California here, and this, Florida is right here. So yeah, maybe this is partly through the quote-unquote cleaning process, because Florida is very hard to see here. It's but who knows. Anyway, so there's this goat here. It's like so hard to get this photo. Like I had it on my phone, but it wouldn't upload to the cloud to put into my laptop because, as it turned out, it's encrypted. So I went to the original website, couldn't find it. Searched through the website, couldn't find it. Eventually found it in another image search and wasn't even able to save it, but I copied the image and, pasted it into here. So yeah, I don't know why you have to encrypt history. It's like y'all didn't make this. This is 5,500 years old. So if you're gonna hoard something that you basically stole from somebody else, like basically grave robbers trying to get the highest price for their goods. I mean, yeah, I don't know what the story is with this shit, but or maybe they're just ashamed because they helped destroy it, so they didn't want to admit that they could see in the beginning that there was nothing under it except just this one goat and like this little guy here. And they already knew that this horse didn't have a head, and they already knew that this bird didn't have a head or a tail, so there was really no reason to destroy the mainland. And just the idiocy of claiming this is a stain. Like that's the official position. This whole part here is just, all this stuff is a stain that just somehow managed to go in between every single boat and almost every single avatar right up to the edge. Like that's the level of stupidity, like of somebody who should not even be allowed to like drive on the street, and yet they're in charge of history. And they're, I mean, this was done by basically the Egyptian government, and maybe in concert with the British government and maybe the US government. So maybe they do know what they're doing, but they're fucking scum and need to be in jail. So anyway, these are islands. Like these two avatars seem to represent islands around Japan and the Kuril Islands near, and this is like Kamchatka right here. And so I think this is like Shumshu and Paramushir and Iki and Tsushima. So anyway, they are shown in the style of Isis and Nephthys, and then this figure between them would then probably be Ma'at, who is kind of when they blend together, or is they're all aspects of Venus. So yeah, and if you ask like Venus the planet or the goddess, then that's just silly, because the gods were planets, the planets were gods. It's the same thing. You know, when you say ray, it just means the sun. So you say, oh, look at Ray over there. That just means the sun. Like, there's not a separate Venus separate from the planet Venus. Anyway, so she seems to be Isis, Venus rising. She seems to be Nephthys, Venus setting. So I compared her to a depiction that has been that may be of Venus from ancient Iran, and so there's at least some chance that there's some connection here, that like so this is the island Shumshu, Paramushir, and then it might even be an amalgamation that includes this island, which I think it might be Urup or Harim Kotan or something like that. I think it's in the Kuril Islands. That matches with this figure here. But it may also be this may also be another representation of her, where she has a big round eye. I mean, it's hard to see in this, but this is from Zhiroft, Arata, Iran, and so it's hard to be completely certain, but there could be that even these Iranian depictions of Venus were connected, had a celestial terrestrial aspect, like were connected to Shumshu and Parameshir as well. Hard to be sure. Certainly has the Neanderthaloid, Cro-Magnon nasal morphology. And so that's a possibility. Been looking at some of these, prehistoric, Stone Age rock paintings. I was looking at this one. I was thinking, maybe this one is Cuba with its nose that points down like that, and then maybe this one is Hispaniola, Haiti, whatever, with this this being this distinctive peninsula there. But honestly, I'm not really sure about that at all. They could be part of one landmass that are but I was also noticing the similarity of the depiction between them and this other cave painting. I'm not sure where each one is from, but they're probably, from different caves and different time periods and whatever, both during the Ice Age, prehistoric. It could be like that these two hands on this one represent somehow whatever this and this is. I mean, it looks here like there's a tree growing out of this guy, this animal, and maybe fruit on the tree. So who knows? I definitely think these are maps. I definitely don't believe like these are just like paintings of hunting. Like there's no way you'd come back from hunting and you'd draw this with these weird hands and crap. No, that's not. You don't hunt with your hands. You don't smack the I mean, maybe you could smack them on the ass and make them jump off a cliff or something, but there's like very little chance that these are just meant to be straightforward depictions. This was another one that I thought looked like it could potentially be Haiti Hispaniola with this, these front hooves representing either the peninsula and Gonave Island or the peninsula and this part down here. The head is a little bit shaped similar, but who knows? I definitely don't have a really positive idea on any of these ancient ones. This one is a pretty good match, other than the genitalias. Well, maybe even that. I don't know. So this is a 34,000-year-old Croatian painting. And it might be like the oldest art in Croatia. So it's very similar to this Egyptian depiction of Pico Islands in the Azores, which is basically defined by its butt and being this part. And so, this one, if this is of the same thing, they're both quite stylized, they're not super exact. But, and I'm not sure if the genitals are actually part of it or are just kind of added on, like, just to complete the picture. It could be that some of these sea mounts around here represented, there certainly are some lines underwater that could correspond to that. So I was thinking this was a goddess, but maybe it's a god. Might have misgendered him or whatever. So, I was thinking this one, that in the Egyptian version was a goddess, but I guess I had no real basis for saying that. So it could be male. And so yeah, this one at least matches fairly well, it matches pretty goddamn well, so I would not be at all surprised if that's what it is. But unlike in the Egyptian one, I know that it's that because it's part of an entire world map, and so I know I can orientate it based on the rest of the map. This, it's just on a wall, so it's harder to be completely certain about it. See, this is another one that I'm not really sure about, but it's Göbekli Tepe. There's this, serpent. This is like a 12,000-year-old temple, the oldest temple in the world, and near the Euphrates, near the northern part of the Euphrates, and near the ancient route that connected the the Pacific to the Atlantic. Basically, people would sail through the Euphrates and then go overland partly to get to the Mediterranean, so they wouldn't have to sail all the way around Africa to get to the Atlantic. So there was a lot of traffic coming through this area. So anyway, this serpent thing, I think may be that its head might be the Peloponnese Peninsula, and that its tail that curls around and goes up against this H shape might be, Çatalca Peninsula here, Thrace, and the H may represent Asia, Anatolia here. And then this space between, so then if so, this bird's legs would probably be Italy, and then the space between the bird's head and the snake's tail would probably be the Black Sea. And then this bird's head would, I guess, be Sicily, and maybe even including Calabria. And then maybe this round thing is like Corsica or Sardinia or whatever there. And I'm not sure what else. So again, there's like a possibility. I noticed a while ago the similarity between this snake and, Greece and Thrace. So, which is of course right next to Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is just a bit further to the east. So that's, it's like this. It's like a possibility. Would not be at all surprised if it is that, but I wouldn't be surprised also if somehow it's not. I don't know. Here's like what looks like some sort of natural avatar or maybe augmented avatar in northern Russia, I think, or thereabouts. To me, it looks like either a boar, like a pig, or a wolf or something with his ear and mouth and eye and arm and stuff. And then this one kind of looks like a face looking up that way. But anyway, especially that looks like there's a lot of weird trippy islands around here too. I hope the scumbags in our government don't blow it all up. This, I don't know if this is anything, but this was just something I was seeing on Google Earth in Baja California, or in the Gulf of California, like the Sea of Cortez. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's just some photographic glitch or if there's some underwater city like that or something. I don't know. Well, this I was thinking. Well, I'll show that later. I was basically thinking that the avatar in Seppi's map of in his Book of Two Ways, where it shows an avatar for Alaska, that it may be that this is the face right here, and that this is the tail coming back here. But I'll try to do a better comparison, because forgot to get a image of the Seppi map to compare with that. This one I'm pretty certain of. This is from the 5,500-year-old Hierakonpolis Tomb 100 map, and this is the figure that guards the the eastern side of the southern tip of South America. And, it seems that in that map, Tierra del Fuego is just included with the mainland, and it may have been basically all part of the mainland at that time when the sea level was lower. But this figure seems to represent Isla de los Estados. It's the pointy nose here, back of the head here, and then I'm guessing that this indentation here is the same as this one here. But yeah, it's hard to be sure, and it may not focus as much on this side of it. A lot of these avatars, they tend to mostly focus on certain aspects of the islands. And it's hard to see, but at the bottom it splits in two. So that would either be these two, or it could be these two actually, because it's like a little thin one and then a wider one. So it could be that this is the thin kind of foot or something, and then this is the wider foot right here. And this would be the character on the other side, on the western side of guarding the western side of the southern tip of South America. So I think he's in here. Honestly, this island, it kind of looks like there's some famous like art piece where the guy looks like this is the nose and this is like his head and his chin and lips and stuff. Maybe it'll turn out that like some modern artists are doing these same avatars somehow. I don't know. But yeah, this one I'm not 100% on whether this is the right direction for him or if it's like this and which part of him is what or any of this. It's like pretty mystical. This was a theory that like maybe this is his face with his like this is his mouth and he's looking up and that somehow like this shield or something that he has is like this part right here, and then this part is like this separate island here, or